I don't know how to start this off, but I feel compelled to tell you about what happened in the gameplay of Left 4 Dead. A little history for you. Left 4 Dead is an asymmetrical cooperative first-person shooter video game developed by Valve itself and published by Valve Corporation. This game uses some of Valve's properties source game and is available for Microsoft Windows, Xbox 360, and OS X. The development of the game was completed on November 13, 2008. The two versions of it have been released digitally. A downloadable digital version released in November 17, 2008, and a digital retail disc version with the release date to be determined by region. The digital disc version was released in North America and Australia in November 18, 2008, and in Europe on November 21, 2008. Set during the aftermath of the worldwide zombie outbreak, this game pits four protagonists dubbed as survivors against a horde of infected. There are 4 game modes. There is single player, which allied the character to be controlled by PCs, a 4-player co-op campaign mode, 8-player online versus mode, and 4-player survival mode. In all modes, artificial intelligence, dubbed in as the director, controls level pacing and item placements in an attempt to create a thematic experience that increased the replay valve. Left 4 Dead was received by many individual media upon its release, with the praise given by the replay of Valve focused on the cooperative play, a horror movie such as Experience. Several criticisms were aimed at the limit level of section and the lack of narrative, but the game had won several publication awards as well as some distinctions from the Academy of Interactive Arts and Science and British Academy of Film and Television Arts. As soon as they were done with Team Fortress 2, Valve has supplemented the game with a free downloadable content. The first being the Survival Pack, which was released in April 21st, 2009. The second piece of DLC was charged for an Xbox Live that came in from a new campaign titled The Crash Course, released both PC and Xbox 360 on November 29th, 2009. Left 4 Dead was released for the Mac on October 28th, 2010. The popularity of the game led to the development of a sequel, Left 4 Dead 2, which was released on November 17th, 2009. A new map for both Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 called The Sacrifice, which was released on October 5th, 2010. And in July of 2012, all Left 4 Dead campaigns were ported over to Left 4 Dead 2, with a cross-platform multiplayer support between Windows and Mac versions of the game. Here's the plot as it goes. Pennsylvania suffers from an outbreak of the green flu, which is highly contagious and puffgun that it causes extreme aggression, mutation to the body cells, and the loss of the higher brain functions, essentially zombifying those who catch the flu. 2 weeks after the first infection, 4 humane survivors, Bill, William, Overback, voiced by Tim French, a Green Beret and a veteran man, Zoe, voiced by Jen Taylor, a college student, Lewis, voiced by Earl Alexander, a district account manager, and Francis, voiced by Vince Venezuela, an outlaw biker, make their way through the city of Fairfield, only to discover that the infection has been creating more dangerous mutations in some of the hosts. After narrowing escape from the new infected along with hordes of zombies, as seen in the introduction video, the survivors are alerted their presence from the evacuation point, as to a nearby No Mercy hospital roof, by the passing helicopter. Finding their way through the cities and streets and subway and sewers, they are rescued from the hospital's roof at that point, only to be discovered that he's infected. With Zoe forced to kill him, the helicopter crashes and lands in the industrial district outside of the city. Finding themselves armored with a delivery truck, and the group uses it to make their way through the town of Riverside. However, they find the road to be blocked and have to travel the rest of the way on foot. After an encounter with a hostile maniac in the local church, they have discovered that the town was overrun. They decided to head to a nearby boathouse for a rescue. Contacted the fishing vessel, and they managed to reach the city of Newburgh on the other side of the river, only to find much of it in flames. seeking for a larger greenhouse. The rest is interrupted when the military CE-130 Hercules passes overhead, leading the survivors to travel through the city's business districts towards Metro International Airport. Upon arrival, the group has been seen to attempt to obtain the infection, but the military had bombed the airport. The runaway, however, is largely intact. Following, the survivors had to fuel up and escape while waiting in on C-130. The airplane had been trying to land only to crash and explode, given the sight of how the outbreak has affected the air travel. Despite the apart agent rescue, it crashes as well, and once the survivors find themselves alone in the outskirts of Alphanoni International Forest, followed by a series of train tracks in the area, the group had found themselves at functioning but abandoned military outpost. After answering the radio transmission, the survivors made their way to the final stand against the horde of infected, before military APC arrives, supposedly, to transport them to Northeast Safe Zone Echo, implied with one of the few, if not the only, safe zone standing. Instead, they were taken to a military installation that they found out that they were immune, still carried the infection, that they were temporarily held by the military base when it was overrun before it was overrun by infected. The four escaped via train and traveled south at Bill's assistance. Bill believes that they can find a long-term safety from the infected in the islands of Florida Keys. So at the port side of the town Rayford, they found a boat, but they must raise it to the rusty old bridge, powered by an N-rate agent engineer generator to get the boat running in open waters. Assured by the machinery's noise will alert large horde, however, the generator gives out, and Bill sacrifices himself in order to restart it, so that way the survivors may reach safety. After they're waiting for the horde to disperse, 3 of them encounter 4 more survivors, and they moved on to find the boat on the other side of the bridge to help them relower the bridge so they can cross in their car. Afterwards, Louis, Zoe, and Francis were held back at the boat to set course to the Keys. Remember, Left 4 Dead is the first-person shooter, in which the player takes control of one of the 4 survivors. If the human players are not playable, then the remaining survivors are control bots. They play for the levels of fighting the infected, living the humans who have been infected with rabies-like virus that causes psychosis, but the virus does not attract them, but they can transmit it to other carriers. The game focuses on the cooperation and teamwork, thus cushions some realism conventions are usual that are in most FPS games for the wilder genre. Colored outlines teammates are visible through the walls to make players stick together and coordinate their movement. If a survivor falls off the edge, they may automatically hang on to it, but can only be helped by another survivor. If a survivor's health is depleted, when they become decapitated, they can only be revived by another survivor, which at that point they continue playing the low amount of health that they decreases over time. And if a survivor is decapitated and revived twice without tending to their wounds, then the experience will distort back black and white version of the game, and the next incapacitation will kill the character. If the survivor takes enough damage while incapacitated, or eventually helped by another teammate, then when the incapacitated survivor is killed, they'll die. During the campaign mode, if the survivor is killed, then they will respawn in a closet, and whatever will be in enclosed space for a period of time, or except during key points of the scenario, but most must be freed by another survivor to rejoin the team. Otherwise, the player must wait until the next level. The owl is incapable of accessing the respawn closets, so if human players are killed or incapacitated, the players will have to restart from the last checkpoint, so that the survivors can share first aid kits, pain pills, and help each other heal. Left 4 Dead has friendly fire, which causes no damage on easy difficulty mode, increasing the need for caution around the other survivors. The survivors communicated by voice commands that were addressed by quick menus, and some may sound automatically when performing actions such as reloading or spawning infected. Over 1,000 unique lines have been set and recorded for each survivor. Additional communication of players' actions converted into characters' lights. Also, the weapons have been mounted flashlights with muzzle flashes to keep the players determined from whenever they are companions are shooting. Performing melee attacks, reloading, or moving. Due to the control issues, likelihood of the players using the headset, the Xbox 360 version of Left 4 Dead omits a quick phrases in the feature. The game is experienced through 6 campaigns that takes place in various urban and rural locations. Multiple visuals is this, including license plates, park signs, markings on airport equipment, lines of the dialogue spoken by the survivors, and suggested that the locations are in Pennsylvania, and similarity with the immortal that have been given their names of those who have died during the infection. Actually, the names are in the game's development team, along with many dates of birth and deaths, suggested that the game takes place in October 2009. Each campaign has been divided into 5 chapters, except for the Crash Course, of course, which has 2 chapters, the Sacrifice, which has 3. Marked by the safe rooms, which there were checkpoints where players can heal, re-aim, arm, and revive characters who were killed, especially with the 4 campaigns are No Mercy, an urban setting including the hospital skyscraper, Death Toll, a small town in a countryside setting, Dead Air, an airport setting, and Blood Harvest, a woodland farm setting. The 2-level campaign Crash Course was released in September 29th, and it is set for the outskirts of a small industrial town, while The Sacrifice is a 3-level campaign released on October 5th, 2010, with an industrial portside setting in Georgia. The levels are distinct beginnings and ends, but a number of them alters the route following with the more supplies, helping to create this sense of non-interminability. And in the final chapter of each campaign, the players must defend a position at the onslaught of the infected until rescue arrives. Each campaign technically lasts between 20 minutes and 75 minutes, depending on the difficulty. Both platforms of the game utilize this achievement in the system. I bought the game from GameStop and purchased the Xbox Live so that I could play while chatting with my friends on headset. I played the game on Versus mode, and I was played as Francis, and I shot numerous zombies in the Dead Air level. I continued to wander around killing common infected until I got attacked by a hunter. In case if you've been living under a rock for the rest of your lives, the hunter is an Aegea's special infected whose mutated has been granted for an incredible strength and agility. His role in Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 is to kill or grievously injure individual survivors who have become separated from their coordinates, not to mention that he's voiced by Mike Patton. The hunter appears to be a faded blue hooded sweatshirt and dark brown sweatpants. His hood has always been pulled down to uncover his face, which on close expression, he reveals the skin around his eyes that have either been clawed off or is mortified in the result of the infection. What remains of his eye were the effective glow displayed by the common infected, dark, although some might be lights, reflecting off the blood leaking from its eye sockets. Inspiration for the hunter's design may have come from the park tour culture, a physical discipline that allows the practitioners to move fluidly, effortlessly around the environment. Often overcoming seemingly impossible obstacles, some tracers have been seen on the sleeves and hems of clothing taped down to prevent air resistance. Also during Versus, if controlled by player, he can perform park tour from buildings from another. For example, the Dead Air campaign, which is most especially the construction site. By the way, I practice park tours sometimes myself. The hunter primarily identify their distinctive and imitating growl on the screams and snarls they emit upon seeing a survivor or while attacking. The hunters are the only special infected who do not make any noise while in the passive state. After a hunter is killed due to the horror surrounding the other survivors, first I didn't enter the holly streets of the apartment, although broken a hole in the wall. If you have not encountered a second pistol yet, there is a corpse near the window where one is beside it. I check the bedroom to the left and head down the stairs and turn to the right. However, that's when I got pounced again by a hunter. Again, I groaned. Thankfully, Bill knocked the hunter off of me, and I went after the special infected, bounced away scot-free. I stick to my team like glue, and we shot and killed numerous zombies. That's until I got to the construction site. Once again, I got pounced by who else? The hunter. I can tell that it was the same hunter that I killed off back at the greenhouse, the same place where I got pounced on the second time. But because of the amount of blood on his clothes, I learned that that on YouTube, whenever you kill a survivor, as the hunter has huge splatters of blood that covers the character from head to toe. I can also tell that somebody was playing the character because the name above it was a special effect that's saying the hunter. His timing and his timing was perfect. He knew exactly where I would be at the right time. I would just wait until I get this open. I checked the guy's stats. He was whooping at least 10,000 points. This guy is a god, I thought. I knew I had to step up to my game, so I gave this guy everything I have. After about 6 minutes, I got pretty bored and I was at the runaway finale, until I got attacked yet again by the hunter. It was the same guy as the one on the bar. Same bloody clothes, same bloody hunter that pounced off some of the walls and even dived down at me. It was indeed a trick move that was performed by many players from YouTube. But I thought that this was odd, considering the fact that I did my best to myself from getting pounced. I respawned and decided to play as Lewis and be cautious about my surroundings. I stepped outside of the safe room, nothing. I continued to shooting zombies, nothing. I gunned down a tank, nothing. Just an ominous feeling as I was feeling like I was being watched. I looked around and saw him, the hunter. He was just standing there on the rooftop until he ran off. I kept my eye on him until the roof he was on, till I was for sure he was gone. Me and the rest of the survivors ran towards a C-13-0 until the exact same hunter pounced on me yet again. This time I was ready. I snapped a photograph or the attack and saved it on my computer. Until I have the pic, I will post them when I have the chance. I was about to quit right then and there, and I would say, F this, and just as I heard in my headphones, it sounded like a growl of some sort. No, not a growl. A deep guttural voice, which snarled something quiet and faint, like if someone was losing his voice. I couldn't quite hear it, frankly, but I could tell that it was talking to me. I'm sorry, what was that? I asked. No answer. I asked again and there was no response. I needed to check in on the other players to see if they were hearing this and seeing the same crap I have. The response says, yeah, we heard that shite. I don't know who this guy was, but he seriously needs to stop messing around with us. If he keeps pouncing us, we're quitting the game. And I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather play Call of Duty than to play that cat and mouse with this son of a gun. You can hear that, right? No ghosts, no goblins, just a random player who is obviously the biggest troll of town. And seeing that he got me to the gut, that is good, but I'm not the only one getting pounced on. This guy pounced on other players, and it did not stop until they quite have the game. I decided to find out to hell with this and tried to find out this asshole and end this bloodlust once and for all, but to no avail. I searched high and low, but I couldn't find him. I felt like chasing a phantom, but no matter how hard I tried, I never was able to catch him. That is, until I found him pouncing on another player. I grabbed my shotgun and aimed at the bloody hunter. I was going to kill him. Now I got you, I said. I lit a loud grin and anticipation, and I fired my gun, and the bullet went straight for his back. The hunter got off the survivor as he bounced away, and I could fired another shot. I wasn't going to lose him now. So I chased him through the level, firing my gun in the darkness. Where did he go? I asked myself. I felt like what seemed hours on end, and I searched high and low for the hunter, until I heard the hunter's trademark snarls. I turned my character around for the source of the noise and named it, and I saw the hunter pounce on me. I finally gave up, and I quit the game. No matter how much I try, I just can't find a way to beat him. I tried to forget about the whole ordeal with the playing Team Fortress 2. I noticed that the chat box with the same players was up. Thankfully, not all the players were by the name of the hunter. They felt that I was, which I guess makes it equals, feeling sincerely at ease. The next morning I received an email from my Gmail account as it follows. Play the game. I want you to see you bleed. I want to watch you die. Sincerely, the hunter. What the actual hell? How did this person know my Gmail account? I freaked the hell out as I called my friends over, and he said something the same crap, which means I did not imagine or dream it. I will have to come back tomorrow another time. I need to do some investigation on no matter what. I'll talk to you guys soon. Update, July 14th, 2011. 10 p.m. Okay, so I did not get some evidence of this guy by this anonymous person, but I promised to take this asshole down. But my friend was out of town at the time and went to Jersey Shore for vacation. Turns out that my friend ran into a guy who claims to be the older brother of our suspect. He said his older brother's name is Mitch, and he had some run-ins with the law, played video games and harassed other players, and even hacked into their computers and looked up in their profiles. Guy's computer genius, or more like evil genius if you ask me. So this guy's name is Mitch. He's at least 22 years old and lives in New Jersey. Looks like we have our guy. Update. July 8th, 2011. Fin 7:88 a.m. My friend's back from New Jersey and he got some bad news. With the witness brutally murdered by Mitch, his younger brother, and his lit house was on fire, I guess that Mitch wasn't identity to be revealed, but so he committed a stark, raving, mad killing his own brother. I mean, Jesus Christ, what kind of messed up individual commits some acts like this? What kind of person can be this evil? I guess my only option is to call the police. Mitch is already on the run, but I'll make sure he just gets his desserts. Better run, Mitch, because now I'm the hunter. And that, my little pretties, was The Hunter, a Left 4 Dead gaming pasta written by TheDarkCat97. Well, I could definitely say right now that I do remember narrating this last year. And to be completely honest, I actually found this story to be rather good. Now, my final thoughts are on is this. I could definitely say that this story actually did a really good time and effort when it came to this. Like, I'm being completely and utterly honest here, people. When I first heard of this story, or read this story last year, I actually was very surprised that the concept actually looked really well made and detailed. Like, if you heard the narration, you should probably already know that I was really amazed about this story. Now, I know last year I've read a few Left 4 Dead stories. I might consider re-narrating one of them, but I don't know. But yeah, take it by the fact that I love Left 4 Dead so much. It's actually pretty amazing that I haven't done a Left 4 Dead story or anything since the Berenstain Bears in Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. Now, I do have the Christmas one, and I am planning to upload that sometime in December. I'm not exactly 100% sure when or if I will. Well, I'm not going to say if I will, because I am planning to do that. But I just don't have the exact date when I'm hoping to release it. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and, explain this to the best of my ability of what I liked. Now, I'm going to try to keep the review as short as I possibly can, because this one was a long story. It was like, I guess you could say it was like 20 minutes long. But I'm sure you guys really like long stories. And, I don't have a problem with long stories. It's just sometimes they can be a pain. Not saying all long stories are a pain, but, that's just a story for another day. So, alright. The sentence structuring was pretty good in my opinion. It actually flowed out well with the story, and this is actually pretty believable. Yeah, I could definitely say there might have been maybe one or two flaws that I do know that are in this story. I didn't really point them out, but I'm willing to kind of excuse that, but I am going to explain what they are in a bit. But I just want to get the positives out of the way before I go to the negatives. Although there are some exceptions where I go with the negatives first. There are some exceptions, but, I'm just going to go with the positives for now. The grammar of the story was really good. I'm definitely going to be completely honest. The sentence structuring actually worked really well with the concept, and I do like the fact that the story actually, made it pretty interesting. Take it by the fact that, I narrated this last year. I think I forgot to say a few things because I never had the opportunity to do it, but before I do that, I am going to explain right now. There are maybe one or two cliches that I do know that are in this story, I believe, but I could be wrong. One of the cliches I'm thinking that was in the story was, there's no glitch cliches, actually. Like, scratch what I said, I think there were a few cliches, but well, yet again, I might be wrong. There might be a cliche, but if the Dark Cat could let me know in the comments below if there were cliches in this story, because yeah, I am not sure if I did spot a cliche. Maybe I did miss something. I don't know, but with that being said, just forgive me about the review. Okay. Another thing I would like to say was that the paragraph structure was good, and I did spot maybe a few I think there was like a few punctuation errors, maybe just a few of them in the story, but other than that, with that, they can be fixed with, Google Docs can easily fix these, like I said before. I'm not going to repeat myself too many times because, I don't want to, sound like a broken record like I already am, especially with stories that have no time and effort. But, with that being said, I'm just going to be completely and utterly honest. Okay. The story actually was pretty interesting, and the grammar of this was actually really good. I definitely have to say, Dark Cat, I do miss this story a lot, and I'm really glad I'm re-narrating this again, because this story was actually good. I do plan to re-narrate more of your stories, and narrate more of your new stories, so yeah, with that being said, Dark Cat, be sure you send me a link to them, if you, get the opportunity. I'm not saying you have to, but if you can, that'd be great, because I do plan to re-narrate more of your stories, because they actually put time and effort into them. Now, with this, to be completely honest, I am just going to say that right now, that this story actually played out very well with the whole ordeal concept. It doesn't go completely all over the place. I know it's more of a gaming pasta, yes, but at least it doesn't go all over the place, not like most crappy creepypastas do on the Goshia. And yeah, that's where I actually found the site, was on Goshia Wiki. So, yeah. I could definitely see this being, believable and really amazing, to be completely honest. And it does make a lot of sense because, taken by the fact that, this is all believable and stuff, I definitely have to say that the story actually worked out really well when it came to, the concept itself. I do definitely have to say, Matthew Bumford, this story was actually pretty interesting. Taken by the fact that I've seen a few of these stories, this story actually fits out well. And that's definitely something that can definitely be completely honest. So I'm definitely have to say, I actually found this story to be rather amazing and well done. So, I guess I kind of, already said, certain stuff along the lines, but, I'm just going to be completely honest and probably just, explain more of this. So, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say here is that I really do enjoy this story, and this story actually fits out well with the whole concept and stuff. So that's definitely, I'm going to say right now that I really like this story, and that story is actually really good and well made. It actually fits out well. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and, get started with, the whole, okay, I'm gonna get rid of the flaws because this one is going as far as it is. Now, the one flaw I could definitely say was the Mitch character. The character who is playing the hunter, killing, his brother or something. Like, why was there any reason for him to sit there and do that? Why was there a reason for him to sit there and, get someone's email? Unless he somehow hacked into this protagonist's Gmail and found it, that could be the reason. But there was, no explanation on how he got it. Like, I understand this didn't really make a whole lot of sense, but still, I just don't understand why that's the case with this story. Like, I don't see anything too much about it, but, I definitely have to say, what could have been explained help the story better is, instead of having it on the cliffhanger, probably maybe just throw in some, ideas of what could have happened to the Mitch character, and at least that way it would have been, rather believable and stuff. Maybe they can explain that maybe the older brother said that he was, a hacker. I know it kind of explained it in this story, but I feel that I'm missing something. If you could let me know, Dark Cat, that'd be great. But yeah, another flaw that I did spot it, and I'm gonna say this right now, is the fact that, that the person, gets a strange email from something. Yes, I have no doubt that, that happens because, I've got strange emails from, from certain ads and stuff. So, yeah, you're not alone right there on that note. So, I definitely have to say, the story actually fits out well with the concept, even though there were some stuff. But, with that being said, I'm just going to say that right now, that, like I always continue to say, that this story, yeah, it does have a few flaws, but it's actually a pretty good concept. That's a very good positive I'm definitely saying, is that the story is good and all that, But it does have a few flaws, and yeah, that's all I can definitely say. Some things could be fixed up, but other than that, the story actually fits out well with the whole concept. I really do think that the story actually worked out well. It was awesome. I definitely will read this again. It was very awesome. I'm glad I got a second chance to narrate this. So, okay. I'm going to say this right now, and like I always continue to say, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to this creepypasta, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of the story is 10 out of 10. Great story, even though it did have 2 flaws in it, but they're excusable as this is believable and stuff, and I really do like the fact that the concept itself was pretty interesting, so that's definitely a good reason why this story is getting a good rating that it is today. So anyways, with that being said, what did you guys think of this, creepypasta, or gaming pasta, whatever you guys prefer to call it? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me now your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode, and if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so that you guys will not miss an upload. So as always, please roll the outro because I'm out of here. And I will be catching you all in the next video. So thank you so much for coming. And I will see you all next time. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.